Hey. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here, again. And I want to thank you so very much for stopping on this post. For those of you who have listened to me more than once, you understand that I speak about poverty an awful lot. I speak about the best life that one could possibly have, but I also spend a lot of time talking about poverty. And many of you would rather that I would focus on the good things and forget that which is not so glamorous. But the truth of the matter is that there is no true glamour when you know that something is rotten. There's no true glamour when you can smell that something doesn't really smell too good. There is really no true glamour when there's pain and suffering on the other end of having what you call a fantastic time. The only thing that would make that great is knowing that it's whatever is at the beginning is all the same thing at the end. They're interconnected. That beautiful thing, and it runs around the whole circle. The circumference as a spreading of that beautifulness. And so this, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is really a step up in understanding what life is about. You know, one time they said we were animals, act like animals, we were barbaric, and so on and so forth. And then we've come up a long way, but at the same time, all we have to do is look around us and see that we still are acting like the animals in the wild kingdom, truly. And so to move up, it's about time we move on up a little bit higher. And there, to me, is a fantastic step to move, is to make sure that that happiness that I desire is made real. And that if it can be made real for me, it can be made real for all of us. And to me, I know that each of us play a part in making that real. First of all, for me, I do what I do because I know there's a God. I've seen people who believe in God. The whole nation got a percentage of the population, at least more than 50%, that believe in God, but that doesn't mean a thing. God is not being expressed in our lives. And if so, it's overwhelmed by the ungodly things that happen in his life. Now, I know how that works for me. For me, there's no question about is there a God? There is a God. And that means that God is more magnificent to me, requires more loyalty from me than any man on earth. And that any true loyalty that I could give any man on earth is a reflection of my understanding of God. So that's when I talk about peace and prosperity. I don't speak about me or blacks or men or Americans only. I speak of all people because that's how I understand God to be. And so when you see me, I tell you sometimes that I'm a very poor man as far as having possessions. I don't have anything. My wife has some, she got a job. My job doesn't pay me any money. And so based upon my experience with the system that permits me to receive a docket from Social Security, it's so small it's crazy. But it's $300. Somebody said, why would you let the world know that you only receive $300 a month? Because the shame is not on me. The shame is on the world. But the world has an excuse. And that excuse is that they don't know any better until I come along, or others like me who come along and say, yes, there is a God, and God made things to be different. God makes things to be as we have imagined in heaven, so on earth. But see, man comes along and thinks that he wants to be God because he doesn't believe in God. And he starts expressing things about what he wants life to be. Doesn't believe in God. Believes in picking up guns and forcing people to do stuff. Believes in standing outside of government buildings or where people supposedly represent the people with guns, intimidating, saying what I will do to you. It's amazing how the devil's advocates work in societies all over the world. But it should remind us, ladies and gentlemen, that that is exactly what's happening. What you see out there is the devil. That is the devil. There's no love in there. There is nobody that cares enough about you. They're going to go and get a gun and go kill somebody else. If you believe that, you crazy. If that joker kills somebody else for you, they kill you too. That joker knows no love. A person that loves you will die for you, will be killed for you instead of you. That's what you call love. So start I know you haven't had any teaching like that, so I just can't say this and expect it to happen. But I want to say it so you can at least say you heard it. And believe me, sometimes you might even decide to try this. Sometimes it would take a tsunami to come and cause that to happen, but even tsunamis do occur. And so what I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, I understand that when I sit before you and feel sad because I know you can't get to the doctor, because I know your health care is menial and to none, and I know what that causes. Why do I know that? Why does it mean so much to me? Because I go through the same things. I don't want to go through this. If there was a way I could prevent all of this, I would do everything I possibly can to cause it to happen. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because that is a way. But in order for me to be real about it, I have to feel it. I have to need it. Need it. Now somebody said, well, you can get, maybe I could, but there are those who can't. And so if I'm going to speak for those who can't, I got to know what those who can are going through. See, there's no pain like feeling it. You can imagine other folks' pain all you want. But if you feel the pain, there's a whole great big difference. You might want to do something. And that's what I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen. I feel the pain. All of the things that I know God has made for us. I know that in heaven we don't have to worry about anything that we worry about on earth. Food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, transportation, anything you can imagine, computers, AI, whatever. In heaven, it's all provided for. But I'm reminded that as in heaven, wherever that is, even if it's just here or here, as in heaven, so on earth. So if I can see it, I've seen it, I've imagined it, here, what all about. I can see it here because I see what the problem is. The problem is we the people, not knowing it, following some other thing. And, I'm not mad with you. I'm sad with you because all of the struggles you're going through, on your knees, Lord God, do this, do that. And God sends me to tell you, I don't know, he sends apparently some to tell you to give the preacher more money, more tithes and offering. I'm saying this because it's true. At least that's what your preachers tell you. They need planes to travel all over the country. To do what? Some of them go over there and tell them to join the MAGA Republicans. Come over there and whip everybody and keep Donald Trump in office. That's what some of the people tell you about the God that they give money to. Now, me, I got no money to give you. In fact, this $300 I just mentioned to you that I get from Social Security, I didn't want that. I did not want to receive anything. That's why when I left the military with no intention whatsoever to receive any benefit from the military. Why? Because I came out to see things changed. All the system, ladies and gentlemen, to me is bondage. It is straight up bondage for all of us, even the rich people in bondage. And all of us are headed down the same old path. We can call it hell. I do. Because that's what it feels just like to me. That's what it looks just like to me, is hell. Especially when I compare it to as in heaven, so on earth. And it all only requires you. It requires you to recognize that no man made this earth. No man made gold and iron and silver and oil and text, all other kind of materials that are natural to this earth. Man didn't make any of that. All man is doing is using it. And it was supposed to be used for man's freedom and liberation, but it's being used by man to abuse man for some men's benefit. Exploit them for some men's benefit. What I mean by that oil that was made to be used by anybody that desires it, and no limitations that some might have and others don't. No. And what happens? Somebody gets to put their name on it, and they become billionaires Billionaires. That means having resources that give them access to stuff that you will never have access to. And at the same time, you can't even fill your tank up. That's what we're living under. And it's not going to change. It's going to get worse unless somebody wake you up. Preachers, let me tell you something. Christians, let me say to you. I'm not going to, I've said a lot of things about you in time and over time. And you know I had to if I was going to be true. But you are no worse off than the rest of us. We are all crooks when it comes down to the truth. We pretend, but when we look around, we see who we really are. We are all crooks. But since you talk about God, you do read enough in the book, you spend some time thinking about it, maybe you could do something about it. Maybe you could spend some time talking about on earth as in heaven without slavery, without bondage, without supremacy. Maybe you could just do that. Talk about love, about no pain and suffering within our society, and see that as an indication that we are not on the mark, and get rid of it. Come spend a little bit of time talking about that. The people need to talk about that. I've been big in the social media. Talk about this. Put it on TV and stop talking about Trump. You can't stop talking about Trump. How in the world can we forget him if you don't stop talking about it? And give us something that is much more wonderful to think about than Trump. Freedom, prosperity, peace, joy, our dreams coming true. Give us that kind of stuff. Talk to us about that kind of stuff. And if you don't know it, check out some of these posts. There are a lot of people. I got a lot of it, but there are a lot of people that talk to stuff just like me. I can't run across them, but you might be able to. So I just want to take a little bit of time, ladies and gentlemen, on this morning, be this introduction for your next few hours. And until, please enjoy yourselves. Eddie Marcus saying goodbye for now.